creating mind spaces, forming opinions. It's important that this growth comes with great responsibility. As they say, Sanskari OTT is considered as an important aspect of our lives. And to that extent, the creative economy does stand at crossroads. It also requires a lot of collective action. There are issues. There are issues of platforms, fair distribution of revenues, so that it's a call to the industry: innovate fearlessly and tell stories that uplift. Call to the investors: believe in the promise of Indian creativity.
The Minister is leading Maharashtra's cultural affairs and information technology sectors. Sir, please. I wanted to introduce you. But
it's okay. Good morning to everybody. Distinguished guests, Secretary Jaju ji, FICCI Chairman Harsh Vardhan ji, Kevin Vaz ji, Anand Goenka ji, Ayushman Khurana ji, ladies and gentlemen, Ashish Kulkarni ji, Arun Puri ji, Sandhya ji, namaskar. I am very well aware that within no time our Honorable Chief Minister is going to be arrived here, and therefore within no time I have to complete my speech. I am honored to welcome today in my twin capacity city Mumbai to all of you as a Guardian Minister and Maharashtra's Culture Minister to this FICCI Frames 2025 conference, which celebrated its 25th year of journey today, and the continued rise and growth of India's global trend setting media and entertainment industry. I congratulate Team FICCI for this pioneering initiative and carrying forward this initiative year after year. I welcome you all to our pulsating city of dreams, Amchi, Mumbai, where all of us gather as torchbearers of creativity, innovation, and cultural renaissance. I extend a warm welcome to the international delegates, along with our industry leaders, storytellers, producers, technologists, and policymakers, who have converged here to celebrate this year's theme of vision, voices, and creativity. Over the past 25 years, FICCI Frames have emerged as Asia's premier platform for media entertainment and fostering dialogues that have shaped India's media and entertainment industry and lighting our multi-billion-dollar media entertainment industry sector. In Maharashtra alone, the media entertainment sector contributes over 2 lakh crore to our GDP, employing millions and exporting our narratives to every corner of the globe. But we stand at a pivotal crossroads. The rise of AI, virtual reality, streaming platforms demands that we reimagine our thinking and thought process for the entertainment and social impact. We must innovate with the technologies that amplify regional and local voices, giving space to award-winning Marathi cinema to local stories alongside national connect. We need to strengthen the collaborations that bridge urban studios with rural talents, imbibing creativity in every frame, and above all, empowering the next generation and our young directors, writers, and animators who are ready to script India's next chapter on the world stage. The government of Maharashtra is committed to supporting the growth of our media and entertainment industry. Our government rolling out initiatives like Maharashtra Film Policy, establish our new film cities across Maharashtra, opening with the central government and IICT to equip our youth and creators with necessary skills, and the annual Waves Summit platform. We learned that the coming years, the initiatives like this and the energy of our industry will see India rise as world's leading creative economies, and that FICCI Frames 2025 will not just an event, but a forum that elevates India's creativity, voice to unparalleled heights. I welcome and thank you all once again and joining us here today. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thanks so much.
आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you so much, esteemed dignitaries on the dais. I request you to kindly take Hindi cinema's hometown, and may I add the heart of Indian cinema, particularly for Indian Hindi cinema and Indian Marathi cinema. With Mumbai being a major hub for over a century, hosting the first Indian film studio, Dadasaheb Phalke, considered the father of the Indian film industry. Phalke produced the first Indian feature film, Raja in Maharashtra. Marathi cinema holds the distinction of being India's oldest industry. Thank you all. Early contributors to Indian cinema from Maharashtra, Harish Chandra, Savanam Thakur and the Patwardhan family of Kalyan. So much history right here on the land of Maharashtra. The state government built film city to support the industry. It was later named Dadasaheb Phalke in his honor. The National Museum of Indian Cinema is located here in Mumbai. Maharashtra is indeed the Maharashtra for India.
Fadnavis to speak about Maharashtra, and renowned actor and producer Padma Shri Akshay Kumar to speak about movies. A big hand, ladies and gentlemen, for our Chief Minister and Padma Shri Akshay Kumar. Warm welcome on the stage.
We leave our friends to the press and electronic media just a few seconds to take their shots. Ladies and gentlemen, meanwhile, all of you, thank you, sir, for your gracious presence at Vicky Frames 2025. Also, please put your hands together for one of India's most acclaimed actors, Akshay Kumar, in the house at Vicky Frames. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome him to the heartful round of applause. Requesting our friends from the press and electronic media to now settle down. We'd like to start with our session.
मीडिया जनों से रिक्वेस्ट है या तो कोई जो पीछे जितने भी खड़े हैं बैठ जाइए क्योंकि now the audience cannot see us and we can't see the audience. Please a request. दो जन अभी भी खड़े हैं मराठी में ऐसा की मैम आप भी बैठ जाइए. थैंक यू.
अरे मिलेगा आराम से मिलेगा.
Well, good morning. It's a lovely day. 25 years of Vicky. We all here gathered. हमारे साथ हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब हैं और आज मुझे मौका मिला है. ये जिंदगी में मेरा सेकंड टाइम है जो मैं किसी का इंटरव्यू ले रहा हूँ. पहली बार मुझे मौका मिला था प्रधानमंत्री जी का इंटरव्यू लेने के लिए और अब मुझे हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब का इनका इंटरव्यू लेने का मौका मिला है. तो
चलो ना
सर, मैंने उनसे एक क्वेश्चन किया था प्रधानमंत्री जी से कि आप आम कैसे खाते हैं, तो लोगों ने मजाक उड़ाया था. लेकिन सर मैं नहीं सुधरूंगा. आप नागपुर से हैं और नागपुर इज वेरी फेमस फॉर द मैंगोज. तो सर मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूँ, आपको मैंगो नॉट मैंगोज ऑरेंजेस, तो आपको सर ऑरेंजेस अच्छे लगते हैं?
बिल्कुल अच्छा लगता है, बहुत अच्छा.
सर आप उसे वो कैसे खाते हो? छील के खाते हो या उसको जूसर में डाल के जूस पीते हैं?
मैं आपको एक नई पद्धति बताता हूँ. ये जो ऑरेंज होता है उसको पील किए बिना यू जस्ट कट इट और उसको कट करके दो भागों में आप कर दीजिए. उसके ऊपर थोड़ा नमक डालिए.
मतलब उसको पील करके?
हाँ 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 हाँ. जस्ट काट दीजिए,
ओके
जैसा कि वैसा वो कवर सब रहने दीजिए, डोंट पील इट, उस पर थोड़ा नमक डालिए और फिर जैसे आम खाते हैं वैसे उसको खाइए, कवर मत। दिन भर में इतने काम कर देते हैं, तो मैं कहीं पर भी जाता हूँ तो लोग मुझे कहते हैं नायक जैसा काम कर। देखो एक दिन में कितना उन्होंने कर दिया, कैसे एक दिन में उन्होंने दुनिया बदल दी। तो मुझे एक दिन अनिल कपूर जी मिल गए, मैंने उनको कहा क्यों बनाए हुए नायक, आप नायक और हम नालायक, ऐसा लोगों को लगने लग गया। एक दिन में इतनी सारी चीजें कैसे आपने कर दी उसके अंदर। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एक बेंचमार्क सेट करने का काम उसने किया है। बट अदरवाइज मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि फिल्मों ने एज ए ह्यूमन मेरी फीलिंग्स को शेप करने के लिए, मेरे इमोशंस को शेप करने के लिए, और हमेशा चूंकि कोई भी फील्ड ऐसा होता है कि जिस फील्ड में आप बार बार अगर कोई काम करते रहते हैं तो कई बार आपकी इमोशन जो है थोड़ी डीप होती है, थोड़ा आप यूज्ड हो जाते हैं। तो उन इमोशंस को जिंदा रखने का काम ये फिल्मों ने किया है। और मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि फिल्म देखने के बाद मैं वही एक नॉर्मल आदमी बन जाता हूँ जो मैं साहू से।
सर आपने जैसे बताया कि नायक फिल्म के अंदर अनिल कपूर जी एक दिन के लिए चीफ मिनिस्टर बन जाते हैं। सर अगर आपको मैं पूछूं कि एक दिन के लिए आप फिल्म के डायरेक्टर बन जाए और फिल्म का नाम हो महाराष्ट्र, तो पहला सीन आप क्या पिक्चराइज करेंगे?
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर महाराष्ट्र में फिल्म बनती है तो पहला सीन होगा जिसमें छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये राज्याभिषेक के लिए बैठे होंगे और इतने सालों की गुलामी के बाद फिर एक बार स्वराज्य का निर्माण, ये उसका प्रयास है।
तो सर मैं आपसे एक और चीज पूछना चाहूँगा, जैसे बॉलीवुड में हमारी हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में रियल हीरोज दिखते हैं, आपके हिसाब से पॉलिटिक्स के रियल हीरो कौन है?
देखिए आज अगर हम लोग भारत को अगर हम देखें तो भारत के इस पूरे पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री में हमको रियल हीरो के रूप में हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी दिखाई देते हैं। और वो इसलिए दिखाई देते हैं कि यस वॉक द टॉक। जो चीजें हम लोग कहते थे, भारत से गरीबी हटाओ का नारा लगातार लगता रहा, लेकिन 10 साल में 25 करोड़ लोगों को गरीबी से बाहर निकालने का काम ये मोदी जी ने करके दिखाया। हम लोग फ्रेजाइल 5 इकोनॉमी से फर्स्ट 5 इकोनॉमी में आए, हम दुनिया की चौथी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बन गए, जल्दी तीसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बन गए। आज चाहे वो टेक्नोलॉजी का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे वो डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे वो एवीजीसी का क्षेत्र हो, हर क्षेत्र में भारत वर्ल्ड से कॉम्पीट कर रहा है। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हमेशा हम लोग जब छोटे थे तब से हम कितने महान थे इसकी कहानियां सुनते आए हैं, लेकिन हम महान कब बनेंगे ये हमको कोई बताता नहीं था। नाउ वी नो दैट वी आर ऑन द पाथ। 2047 में विकसित भारत, ये महान भारत का चित्र अब हमारे सामने है और उस चित्र को लाने वाले हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी हैं।
बहुत खूब, बहुत बढ़िया सर, बहुत बढ़िया। तो सर बताइए, आज ये फिक्की का प्रोग्राम है तो इसके अंदर एक ऐसा प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूं सर आपको कि अगर आपको एक एलिवेटर पिच यानी कि एक क्विक लेकिन जबरदस्त पिच देनी हो कोई इंटरनेशनल स्टूडियो को महाराष्ट्र में बिजनेस करने के लिए, तो वो पिच क्या, वो क्या बात आप उनको कहेंगे कि वो इंटरनेशनल स्टूडियो यहाँ आए?
मैं उनको ऐसा कहूँगा कि महाराष्ट्र में इतनी बड़ी लीगेसी है कि हमने दादा साहब फाल्के से लेकर तो आज के कंटेंट क्रिएटर तक जो हमारी ऊंची पोजीशन है वो कभी छोड़ी नहीं है। और इसलिए महाराष्ट्र ही ऐसी जगह है जो इन रियल सेंस एक एंटरटेनमेंट का कैपिटल है, ये कंटेंट का कैपिटल है। और इसलिए इफ somebody wants to come, somebody decides to come, they should come to महाराष्ट्र, क्योंकि यहाँ पर केवल इकोसिस्टम नहीं है, यहाँ पर वाइब्रेंसी है, यहाँ पर लोग ऐसे हैं कि जिन्होंने सिनेमा को जिया है, जिन्होंने सिनेमा के जो अलग अलग एंगल्स होते हैं, सिनेमा में जो अलग अलग रोल्स होते हैं, बिहाइंड द सीन जो रोल्स होते हैं, इन सबको जीने वाली पीढ़ियाँ ये महाराष्ट्र में मौजूद है, इसलिए आप महाराष्ट्र आइए, ये मैं पिच करूँ।
सर, मैं आपको बताऊं, 4 दिन पहले मैं कोलाबा जा रहा था जू से, और मैं करीबन 35 मिनट में पहुंच गया। एंड दैट इज ड्यू टू द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर व्हाट यू हैव क्रिएटेड इन महाराष्ट्र। मुझे याद है कोलाबा में शूटिंग होती थी, मैं जू पे रहता हूँ, मैं शेव करके निकलता था, वहां पहुंच के मुझे फिर शेव करना पड़ता था, इतना वक्त लग जाता था। तो अब मैं बहुत जल्दी पहुंचने लग गया हूँ। आपने साउथ बॉम्बे पहले अलग होता था, नॉर्थ बॉम्बे अलग होता था, आपने इन दोनों बॉम्बे को मिला दिया, दोनों मुंबई को मिला दिया, एंड नाउ वी आर वन मुंबई बिकॉज ऑफ द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर व्हाट यू हैव क्रिएटेड। तो ये इसमें तो आपने सर इतना बढ़िया काम कर रहे हो और हो रहा है। सर, मेरी एक आपसे दरखास्त है, आपकी जो दृष्टि है हमारे फिल्म सिटी जो गोरेगांव में है, करीबन 550 एकड़ जमीन है, सर उस पे दृष्टि डालें, उसको भी जिस हिसाब से आपने मुंबई को चेंज किया है, मैं आपसे दरखास्त करूंगा उसको भी चेंज करें। तो उसके बारे में कुछ आप कहना चाहेंगे?
बिल्कुल, आपने बहुत ही अच्छी बात कही है। देखिए, एक रिग्रेट जो मेरा है अपने लिए वो ये है कि ड्यूरिंग माई टेन्योर बिटवीन 14 एंड 19 मेरी बड़ी इच्छा थी कि मैं फिल्म सिटी को एक बहुत ही वाइब्रेंट इंटरनेशनल फिल्म इकोसिस्टम में परिवर्तित करूं, और हमने काफ़ी प्लानिंग भी किया, डिज़ाइनिंग भी किया, काफ़ी हम लोगों ने फिल्म फ्रेटर्निटी के लोगों से बातचीत भी करके एक उसका बड़ा अच्छा प्लान भी तैयार किया, बट समहाउ ड्यू टू वेरियस रीजंस वी कुड नॉट एग्जीक्यूट इट। सो मतलब मैंने हाथ में लिए और एग्जीक्यूट नहीं हुए, ऐसे 2 या 3 ही प्रोजेक्ट है, उसमें से ये एक प्रोजेक्ट रहा है। लेकिन नाउ इन दिस रीजन ये मैंने तय कर लिया है कि इस फिल्म सिटी को एक वर्ल्ड क्लास, टॉप क्लास जो फिल्म इकोसिस्टम है उसमें हम लोग कन्वर्ट करेंगे। वैसे भी अब हमारी फिल्म सिटी में IICT आ रहा है, तो इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ क्रिएटिव टेक्नोलॉजी, और उसके साथ साथ अभी बहुत अच्छे स्टूडियोज जो स्टेट ऑफ आर्ट है, जो क्योंकि फिल्म मेकिंग तो पूरा बदल रहा है अभी VFX के कारण बहुत सारी चीज़ें बदल रही है, पोस्ट प्रोडक्शन और एडिटिंग में बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर बदलाव आ रहा है, AI भी बहुत मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि फिल्म्स को प्रभावित कर रहा है, लोकेशंस कहीं पर भी क्रिएट की जाती है, ये जो हमारा हरा पर्दा होता है ये हर चीज़ को बदल देता है। तो ये सारी चीज़ों को अकाउंट फॉर करने वाला एक इकोसिस्टम हमको तैयार करना है, और उसके लिए हम लोगों ने ऑलरेडी तैयारी कर दी है। मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि विद इन अ ईयर्स टाइम हम लोग ये ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन शुरू करेंगे, और उसके बाद के 4 सालों में इस पूरे एरिया को हम ट्रांसफॉर्म करेंगे। जैसे दुनिया में कई देशों में वहाँ के स्टूडियोज को, वहाँ की फिल्म इकोसिस्टम को, वहाँ के सारा कंटेंट क्रिएशन को एक आइकॉनिक ऐसी दुनिया में एक नाम मिला हुआ है, इसी प्रकार का नाम जो, चूंकि ये फिल्म सिटी ऐसे है कि देश की क्लासिकल फिल्में सारी जो ओल्ड क्लासिक्स है ये सब यहाँ पर शूट हुई है। लेकिन आज मैं जानता हूँ कि फिल्में वहाँ शूट होती है, लेकिन अलग अलग जगह भी होती है। आज अगर हम लोग मीरा भाईंदर की तरफ चले जाए तो इतने वहाँ पर बड़े बड़े ये स्टूडियोज तैयार हो गए, हालांकि वहाँ कोई बहुत सुविधाएं नहीं है, मतलब कई बार बिना सुविधाओं के भी वहाँ शूटिंग होती है। तो इसका सीधा कारण है कि जो इकोसिस्टम हमने देनी चाहिए थी वो हम नहीं दे पाए, इसलिए इस प्रकार की इकोसिस्टम मशरूम हो रही है। तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि इतना बड़ा हमारे पास फिल्म सिटी है, इस फिल्म सिटी को टोटली ट्रांसफॉर्म करना चाहते हैं, और मैं आपको आई वुड लाइक टू एश्योर यू दैट इन ईयर्स टाइम विल स्टार्ट।
दैट इज ग्रेट। तो ये तो सबसे अच्छी न्यूज़ है कि हमारी फिल्म सिटी जो है गोरेगांव में 4 साल के अंदर काफ़ी कुछ बदलाव आ जाएगा। एंड आज चीफ मिनिस्टर हैज़ प्रॉमिस्ड अस। सर, मैं एक और बात पूछना चाहूँगा। सर, मैं मराठी सिनेमा का बहुत बड़ा फ़ैन हूँ। सर, मैं समझता हूँ जिसका मतलब स्क्रीन प्ले स्टोरी, मराठी सिनेमा की जो स्क्रीन प्ले स्टोरीज और जो किस्म के मुद्दे उठाते हैं, मैं ज़्यादा करके जगहों पे नहीं देखता। आई थिंक दे आर द वन ऑफ द बेस्ट। सर, तो मैं ये जानना चाहूँगा सर, जेन ज़ी में इसे पॉपुलर बनाने का आपका कोई प्लान है कि इसको कैसे पॉपुलर बनाया जाए? और दैट्स इट।
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न आपने पूछा। और मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूँ कि मराठी फिल्म ये इतनी ताकतवर क्यों है? इसका एक कारण है कि मराठी थिएटर ने इसको ताकतवर रखा है। आज भी अगर हम देखें तो देश में जो हमारे भाषाई थिएटर्स हैं, चाहे वो हिंदी हो या अलग अलग भाषाओं के थिएटर्स हो, इसमें कहीं ना कहीं हमको थोड़ा सा ऐसा लगता है कि समहाउ दे आर, मतलब उनकी शीन थोड़ी कम हो रही है, ऐसा हमको ध्यान में आता है। पर मराठी थिएटर इतना इनोवेटिव रहा है कि उसमें मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एक क्रिएटिविटी की या अभिव्यक्ति की जो मिसाल मराठी थिएटर ने कायम की। और आज भी आप देखिए मराठी जो हमारे ऑडियंस भी है वो भी बड़ा वाइब्रेंट ऑडियंस है। आज भी महाराष्ट्र में इतने मराठी नाटक तैयार होते हैं और उन नाटकों को देखने के लिए आज भी भीड़ लगती है, हाउसफुल नाटक चलते हैं। कई लोगों ने तो 10-10 हज़ार शोज का वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड तैयार किया हुआ है। तो ये जो चीज़ें हैं इसके कारण वही क्रिएटिविटी आज हमको मराठी फिल्म में भी देखने को मिलती है। और आपने जो कहा तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आप देखिए नटरंग जैसा एक फिल्म आती है, या पुरानी जो थीम्स है उसके ऊपर फिल्म, अभी दशावतार का एक ये चल रहा है थिएटर में भी नए, मतलब जो बहुत ओल्ड इस प्रकार के सखाराम बाइंडर जैसा एक शो अगर शुरू हो जाता है तो उसको जेन भी मराठी की ये लाइक कर रही है। आज उसके ऊपर लोगों को वो चीज़ें पसंद आ रही है। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये जो मराठी ऑडियंस है, स्पेशली जेन जो है, ये अभी फिल्मों से जुड़ रहा है। देखिए एक ये जो क्रिएटिविटी बड़े पैमाने पर जो मराठी में हमको दिखाई पड़ती है उसमें निश्चित रूप से मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि उसको आज मतलब एक समय ऐसा था कि हमारे मराठी फिल्म्स को कई बार थिएटर मिलने में तकलीफ होती थी। और कोई ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्म आ जाए तो मराठी फिल्म का रिलीज रोकना पड़ता था। पर आज ऐसी स्थिति है कि एक ही दिन 2 मराठी फिल्में रिलीज होती है और दोनों ब्लॉकबस्टर हो रही है, दोनों बिल्कुल लोगों को पसंद आ रही है। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा काम हो रहा है। और हम भी एज ए गवर्नमेंट हमारा भी ये प्रयास है कि हम लोग मराठी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री को मदद करें। इसलिए कई योजनाएं भी महाराष्ट्र सरकार की ओर से हम चला रहे हैं कि जिससे हमारी मराठी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री को बूस्ट मिले। लेकिन आपने एक बहुत अच्छा मंत्र मुझे दिया है। देखिए हमने कोई बहुत स्पेसिफिक एफर्ट टू कनेक्ट जेनजी विद मराठी फिल्म्स हमने नहीं किया। और आज आपने मुझे एक नया मंत्र दिया है, हाउ टू कनेक्ट जेनजी टू मराठी फिल्म्स। अब इसके ऊपर मैं वर्क करूंगा।
बढ़िया सर, आप महाराष्ट्र के चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब हैं, सो यू नो द डार्क साइड ऑफ महाराष्ट्र। आपको ऐसे ऐसे सीक्रेट्स पता है महाराष्ट्र के अबाउट द क्राइम, एवरीबडी द पुलिस रिपोर्ट्स टू यू, आपको सब पता है अंदर महाराष्ट्र में क्या क्या कहाँ क्या हो रहा है। तो सर एक मैं आपसे बात पूछना चाहूंगा कि आप फिल्में देखते हैं?
बिल्कुल देखता हूँ।
तो सर मुझे बताइए सर कि फिल्में जो है वो क्राइम को कॉपी कर रही है या क्राइम है वो फिल्मों को कॉपी कर रहा है? आप अंदर की बात जानते हो, आप ही को ये बात पता है?
नहीं, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि क्राइम फिल्मों से आगे निकल गया है।
क्राइम फिल्मों से आगे निकल गए?
बिल्कुल। देखिए जब तक स्ट्रीट क्राइम था तो स्ट्रीट क्राइम में लोग फिल्मों को कॉपी करते थे। लोगों को ऐसा लगता था कि फिल्म में अगर कोई बड़ा गुंडा दिखता है तो वो जो जिस क्रिमिनल माइंडेड लोग उस प्रकार का गुंडा, थोड़ा हीरोइक गुंडा बनने की कोशिश करते थे, रॉबिन हुड बनने की भी लोग कोशिश करते थे। लेकिन अब जो है ये साइबर क्राइम का जमाना है और ये साइबर क्रिमिनल्स इतनी तेजी से टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट करते हुए आगे बढ़ते हैं कि आज हम लोगों के सामने एक बड़ा क्वेश्चन मार्क ये साइबर क्रिमिनल्स ने खड़ा किया है। हालांकि उसका जवाब भी टेक्नोलॉजी में है और हमने वो टेक्नोलॉजी को तैयार किया है। तो मुझे अब लगता है कि आने वाली फिल्मों में हमारे जो हीरोज हैं, ये हीरोज साइबर वॉर को एक प्रकार से जीतने वाले हीरोज बनने चाहिए। वो साइबर वॉर को या साइबर क्राइम को रोकने वाले हीरोज ये हमको देखने को
साइबर क्राइम पे फिल्म बनानी चाहिए।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बनानी चाहिए, क्योंकि देखिए जिस प्रकार से साइबर क्राइम का एक आक्रमण हमारे ऊपर हो रहा है, आज मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि हमारी जो पुलिस फोर्स है, उस पुलिस फोर्स में हमको पूरा ओरिएंटेशन चेंज करना पड़ रहा है। हमारी पुलिस फोर्स को ये ध्यान में लाना पड़ रहा है कि नाउ स्ट्रीट क्राइम ये बहुत आसान चीज़ है, इसको पकड़ना वगैरह। अभी सीसीटीवी नेटवर्क है, एआई एनेबल्ड सीसीटीवी है, वो फेस रिकॉग्निशन कर देते हैं, तो हर चीज़ का एविडेंस मिल जाता है। लेकिन ये जो डिजिटल क्राइम अभी हो रहा है, डीप फेक्स हो रहे हैं, फिशिंग हो रहा है, लोगों को फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड्स में अटकाया जा रहा है, सेक्सटॉर्शन हो रहा है, ये बड़े भयानक क्राइम है जिसको अभी तक हमारी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री उस तरीके से शोकेस नहीं कर पाई है। तो मैं मानता हूं कि इसके ऊपर फिल्म भी बननी चाहिए, क्योंकि इसमें सबसे बड़ी बात जन जागृति है। आपने अक्षय जी खुद इसकी शुरुआत की है, आपने जन जागृति में बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर अवेयरनेस निर्माण करने के लिए कई कैंपेन्स आपने हमारे साथ भी किए हैं, अलग से भी आपने कई कैंपेन्स किए। तो मुझे लगता है कि चूंकि फिल्म्स ये दे आर द बेस्ट कम्युनिकेटर्स, फिल्म जो कम्युनिकेट करती है, जो एक भावना को तैयार करती है, वो जो उसका पावर है, उस पावर को अब अनलिश करने के लिए मुझे लगता है कि फिल्मों को अब ये जो डिजिटल वॉरफेयर चल रहा है, इसमें भी फोकस करना चाहिए।
सो मैं आपसे एक पूछना चाहता हूँ सर, मैं एक फिल्म कर रहा हूँ जिसमें मैं एक नेगेटिव रोल कर रहा हूँ, तो करूँ या नहीं करूँ? अभी मैं विचार कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि वो एक नेगेटिव फिल्म, मतलब मैं एक रोल कर रहा हूँ जिसके पिक्चर का नाम ही है हैवान। तो मैं, लेकिन उसमें ये है कि मैं हार जाता हूँ, हैवान जो है वो हार जाता है, तो कर लेना चाहिए। ठीक है, आपके
बिल्कुल करना चाहिए, क्योंकि देखिए मैं तो ऐसा कहता हूँ कि आपके जैसे वर्सेटाइल एक्टर ने हर रोल करना चाहिए, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली किसी भी एक्टर के लिए व्हाट इज अकम्प्लिशमेंट, तो हर प्रकार के रोल करना, और हर रोल में मतलब कई हमने ऐसी पिक्चर भी देखी है ना कि जिसमें हालांकि विलन आखिरी में हार जाता है, लेकिन कई बार विलन हीरो से ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट छोड़कर चला जाता है, तो वो दैट इज क्रिएटिविटी। तो मुझे लगता है कि आपने करनी चाहिए, लेकिन ज्यादा फिल्में आप हीरो करके करिए, ये दूसरी लाइन में पकड़िए।
मेरा एक मन किया कि मैं एक नेगेटिव रोल करूं, तो इसलिए मैं कर रहा हूं, नहीं तो ज्यादा करके तो सारी फिल्में मैं हीरो के और तौर से ही करता हूं। सर एक बड़ा सा लाइट सा क्वेश्चन है, अगर आप इजाजत दें तो मैं आपसे पूछूं सर। तो सर अभी सभी सड़कों पे मेट्रो का काम चल रहा है और ये अभी बहुत जल्द जाके खत्म होने वाला है, तो क्या सर ये एक छोटी सी बात है सर, मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ कि जिस दिन ये काम खत्म होगा तो हो सकता है सर वो उस दिन महाराष्ट्र डे की छुट्टी बनाई जाए कि ये काम खत्म हो गया है। बिकॉज सब आई एम श्योर वी आर गोइंग थ्रू ऑल द ट्रैफिक जैम्स एंड ऑल, बट आफ्टर एवरी नाइट कम्स द डे एंड वी आर ऑल वेटिंग फॉर दैट डे कि सब काम खत्म हो जाए। वैसे तो काफी जगहों पे काम खत्म होना शुरू हुआ। मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि जब सब काम खत्म हो जाए तो हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब एक दिन अनाउंस करते कि दिस इज द महाराष्ट्र डे, जब छुट्टी मिलेगी। ऐसा हो सकता है?
आपने बहुत अच्छी बात कही है कि बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर मुंबई में काम चल रहा है, और I take this opportunity to actually apologize all the Mumbaikars for what they are going through in the traffic, लेकिन it is for good, क्योंकि जैसे हमारे मेट्रोज, उसके बाद हमारे टनलिंग का काम चल रहा है, बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर हम लोग अंडरग्राउंड रोड्स तैयार कर रहे हैं, टनल्स तैयार कर रहे हैं। तो ये सारी चीजें जैसे समाप्त होगी, तो हम लोगों ने एक मंत्र मुंबई के लिए तैयार किया है कि मुंबई इन 59 मिनट्स, और इसका मतलब ये है कि हम लोग चाहते हैं कि मुंबई के किसी भी कोने से किसी भी कोने तक जाने के लिए मैक्सिमम टाइम जो आपको लगना चाहिए वो 59 मिनट्स लगना चाहिए, बाकी उससे कम ही लगना चाहिए। इस प्रकार का मुंबई का पूरा प्लानिंग हमने किया है। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि निश्चित अक्षय जी ने कहा है और हम सुनेंगे नहीं, ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता। तो इसलिए जैसे ये काम समाप्त हो जाएगा तो 1 मई को महाराष्ट्र डे मनाएंगे और उस दिन छुट्टी दे देंगे।
अरे उस दिन तो ऑलरेडी छुट्टी होती है उस दिन। ये आपने एक गुगली डाली है, उस दिन छुट्टी होगी, जो दिन ऑलरेडी पहले से हमें छुट्टी मिली हुई है। लेकिन बढ़िया सर जाने से पहले एक और बात सर, मैं आपके अंडर सारे मुंबई पुलिस, महाराष्ट्र पुलिस आती है सर। सर एक मतलब it's nothing got to related with the film industry or films or anything. सर मैं देखता हूँ सर, ये लोग जो जूते पहनते हैं उसके अंदर जो हील होती है, it is not an easy job to run in those heels. मेरे हिसाब से being an athlete, being a sportsman, मैं समझता हूँ सर अगर आपको ठीक लगे, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि ये जब भागते हैं या इतना चलते हैं तो महाराष्ट्र पुलिस की पीठ पे हमेशा कोई ना कोई प्रॉब्लम्स आती है. यू कैन गेट अ स्लिप डिस्क, यू कैन गेट L4 L5 प्रॉब्लम बिकॉज ऑफ दैट हील. सो आई वाज जस्ट छोटा मोल बड़ी बात जैसे है सर कि अगर उनके जूते चेंज हो जाए ना तो महाराष्ट्र पुलिस के लिए बहुत काम आएगी ये बात कि दे कैन रन मच फास्टर देन एनी क्रिमिनल.
बहुत अच्छी बात आपने कही है और शायद इससे पहले किसी ने हमारे ध्यान में भी लाकर दे दी. हमारे तो जो पुलिस है वो इस प्रकार के जूते पहनकर ही सारी प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, लेकिन आपने कहा ये बात भी सही है कि शायद उसके कारण एट अ लेटर एज उनको
उनको आएगी प्रॉब्लम आएगी. मैंने काफी वालों से मिला हूं, बैक प्रॉब्लम हमेशा आती है.
मैं आपको ही रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि अगर आप कोई इसमें इनोवेशन, कोई डिजाइन चेंज या कुछ अगर आप सुझा सकते हैं, बिकॉज आप तो ओजी एक्शन हीरो है तो आपको ये पता है कि एक्शन के लिए व्हाट इज द बेस्ट.
सर आई विल ट्राई एंड मेक अ ब्राउन शूज एंड आई विल शो इट.
यस प्लीज,
अगर आपको ठीक लगे
निश्चित रूप से अडाप्ट करेंगे.
बहुत बढ़िया सर. तो हमारी जो महाराष्ट्र की पुलिस है बस रेडी हो जाइए, वो बहुत तेज भागने वाली है. अब criminals are not going to have any chance. But thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for coming and giving your insight about the film industry. Thank you everybody for being patient. Thank you very much.
Wait, sir, 1 minute. Sir, यहाँ पे.
Join us on stage for a photo opportunity.
पीछे आ जाओ, पीछे आ जाओ, ग्रुप नहीं आएगा. सर पीछे आ जाओ ना सब लोग.
Once again, on behalf of the entire team of Fifty Frames,
Wait.
we thank the Honorable Chief Minister Shri Devendra Fadnavis ji for gracing this occasion and engaging Shri Akshay Kumar in a most vibrant and insightful conversation on this big stage. And of course, we thank Akshay Kumar ji for always making time for us and being the best interviewer on stage, may I say. Thank you very much, the both of you.
Excuse me, I would like to call Mr. Kamlekar here. And it's a real great research center. When you go to Nagpur, please don't only eat oranges, please go and see the National Cancer Institute itself. Big round of applause for both of them for doing this good talk. Thank you so much. And actually, I would like you to come here to the National Cancer Institute.
एक बार फिर से माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी को बहुत बहुत आभार और धन्यवाद. Thank you, sir. Each of their ecosystems. Our first address is by Mr. Arun Puri, founding chairman and editor-in-chief of the India Today Group. I welcome him on stage, and once again, I request you with folded hands, everybody. Mr. Arun Puri, founding chairman, editor-in-chief, India Today Group, will be joining us on stage. Meanwhile, is the fantastic Mr. Mayank Shekhar, entertainment head at Midday and one of India's most respected media critics. Welcome them both, everybody, with an round of applause. And Mayank, take it on.
Thanks for this amazing introduction. I've never heard you speak in Hindi that much. Yaro ka yaar, staro ka star.
और बात करते हैं हिंदी में, जैसे भी क्या है.
हाँ.
हिंदी सिनेमा पे लिखते हैं तो थोड़ा हिंदी तो बोल ही सकते हैं.
मुझे पता है बिहार से हैं.
बिहार से भी है. But you know, I have to say the session today is titled Beyond Stardom Disruption, and that's what we'll talk to you about Ayushman, and सबसे पहले तो मैं आपसे ये पूछ लूँ थोड़ा हिंदी में ही कि अगर कोई प्रोडक्ट को डिज़ाइन करते हैं हम या कोई ऐप डेवलप करते हैं तो there is a problem and then you solve that problem. But when it comes to cinema and storytelling, Ayushman, is there a formula for disruption? Because it's about emotions, it's about connecting with large number of people with stories, as it were. Is there a formula?
We are in the business of selling emotions, that's for sure. There is no formula, the only formula is to break every formula. That's what I feel. There's another formula that the formula changes every 5 years because whatever is relevant right now may be completely irrelevant 5 years down the line. At the same time, there's another formula of staying rooted as much as possible. Be Indian to stay relevant because हम इंडिया को कहानियाँ बेच रहे हैं. तो I think जितना आप हिंदुस्तानी रहेंगे, जितना grassroots level से connected रहेंगे, I think that's the formula.
The other formula, of course, and this is not a formula, it just happens sometimes in everyone's career, Ayushman, is the fact that, there are certain decisions you take. There are certain things you say yes to. Even more importantly, certain things you say no to. And that changes your life, that changes your career trajectory, that changes the way you are in your profession. When you look back at the number of years that you've been in the entertainment industry, films is just one part of it. Even before that, you were RJ, you were a VJ, you were working in television. Is there a moment that you can remember that you said yes or no to that completely changed your life?
I've taken these baby steps towards success. Being a journalist, because I'm a student of journalism, did radio, television, theater. Saying no is the most difficult part, especially on the onset of your career. When you're young, you just started, and saying no to big people is not easy. But that's what makes you. If you have to go with your conviction, with your gut, with your intuition. But I think saying yes to one certain film, Article 15, changed the perception because I was known for my...
I think, yeah,
Thank you.
कंजूसी ना करें आप तालियों में.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It changed the perception because I was known for very light-hearted social comedies, and Article 15 was a very serious film based on casteism, and it did commercially really well, which was an anomaly. पर मैंने हाँ नहीं की थी, मैंने वो छीनी थी फिल्म अनुभव सिन्हा से.
Really?
क्योंकि उनकी मुल्क फिल्म मैंने देखी थी और मुझे बहुत पसंद आई थी. तो उन्होंने मुझे कुछ एक रोम कॉम ऑफर की थी. मैंने कहा सर मैं ये नहीं, आप ये इस रास्ते पे निकलो, जिस रास्ते पे चल रहे हो वही रास्ता मुझे चाहिए. एंड he had this script and he never thought about me in that script. I was like, that's the kind of reinvention I wanted that time. And Article 15 gave me a lot of respect as an artist.
I mean, of course, it shows. But I have to say, like when you take a film like Article 15, or for that matter, even Andhadhun, or even Vicky Dona, which was your first film, first feature film. One could define these films as hybrid. Hybrid in the sense that, of course, they're mainstream films because they connect with vast audiences. They're accessible movies. But at the same time, they also push the envelope. They challenge the status quo of what commercial cinema can be. Would that be a correct definition, a hybrid movie?
I've always done hybrid movies. From day one, that was my staple, from Vicky Dona to Dum Laga Kesh or Shubh Mangal series. Hybrid, always. I think the risk to reward ratio is very different when you see it from my lens. Because these films are not very expensive. They are low budget to mid budget films with high on content. So itna risk to le hi sakte hain. But at the same time, it gives you a different high because coming from the street theater background, we had this discussion in our longest interview, like some 5 years back,
Yes,
6
in
years
case you're
back.
listening, sit with Hitlist, YouTube, Ayushman Khurrana. Plug kar deta hu main.
In that, I said that I'm a part of street theater renaissance in Chandigarh, and we used to mix social issues with entertainment, and this seems to be like the extension of my theater personality. But having said that, the entertainment quotient should always overpower the messaging. क्योंकि ऑडियंस बच्चे की तरह होती है, उनको मीठी गोली देनी पड़ती है दवाई के, नहीं तो दवाई कड़वी लगेगी तो मजा नहीं आएगा. So entertainment has to overpower the messaging, subtle messaging with entertainment. That's more important.
Right. I have to say, let's call them hybrid films for definition's sake. Of course, कुछ ऐसा होता नहीं है. फिल्में तो फिल्में होती हैं, अच्छी होती हैं, बुरी होती हैं. And अच्छा भी बुरा नहीं होता है. Depends on who's watching and what they love to watch. But there was a perception, or there has been a perception, Ayushman, that in the entertainment industry, there was a pre-pandemic world and a post-pandemic world. In the sense कि एक तरह की फिल्में बनती थीं, वो हिट होती थीं, उसमें आयुष्मान खुराना होते थे, and it would cross a certain kind of numbers in the box office. And फिर एक pandemic आया, and then it redefined what a film in a theater is likely to be, what a film on an OTT is likely to be. Firstly, do you agree with this definition कि कुछ फिल्में OTT की होती हैं, कुछ theater की होती हैं? And do you think there is such a thing as a pre-pandemic entertainment world and a post-pandemic entertainment world? Thirdly, do you think it's a phase?
Okay. I think we've had this like crazy discussions on the subject for the past 5 years, half a decade.
Yes.
I really believe a good subject, a good script is a good script. But at the same time, I have deviated post-pandemic.
Okay.
Whatever my choices were pre-pandemic, they were more taboo-based. I'm staying slightly away from taboo, but not from quirk. So it has to be for a bigger palette, larger palette, more rooted, more commercial in a way. My lineup right now is Thama, which is my first big Diwali release. Then followed by, I'm doing a Suraj Barjatya film, which is again for a wider audience.
Right.
Then I'm doing a Dharma film, again a wider audience. But मैं बीच में पंगा लेता रहूँगा. वो जो टेढ़ी फिल्में होते हैं वो करता रहूँगा because that's my core. I can't get rid of that, but at the same time I need to make sure that it's not a taboo. It could be quirky for sure.
So
It has
tell
to
me
be
the difference
different.
between taboo and quirk.
Taboo could be a film on erectile dysfunction. Shubh Savdhan is taboo.
Ji.
A commercial film on LGBT is again taboo for the mainstream audience. But at the same time, if you go with Badhai Ho, that's more commercial. It's quirky, taboo, yet quirky, but more commercial. Because that happens in India. A 50-year-old, 55-year-old woman may get pregnant. It happens. So anything which is not an anomaly, which goes with a wider palette,
Right.
it's more commercial and more theatrical. But taboo films can go for OTT. But that's the irony. We need to reach those kind of films need to be reached to the grassroots level. तो वो पंगा जैसे मैं रोल लेता रहूँगा बीच में, you have to balance it out.
I think one tends to forget one of the biggest hits that someone took, and here I mean the opposite of a hit, is you during the pandemic. I mean, Gulabo Satabo was a film that had to go directly to digital. It was supposed to be a theatrical release. Would Gulabo Satabo be taboo or quirky?
गुलाबो सिताबो
अमिताभ बच्चन है,
यार
आयुष्मान खुराना है।
मुझे काम करना था अमिताभ बच्चन के साथ और मेरे गुरु की फिल्म है शुजित सरकार की, तो फिल्म मुझे करनी ही थी. वो उस लेंस से मैं देख ही नहीं रहा हूँ कि वो टैबू है, क्वर्की है, कमर्शियल है, नहीं है. अगर दादा ने बोल दिया है फिल्म करो तो करो, बिकॉज ही इज गिवन माय फर्स्ट फिल्म, ही इज माय गुरु, आई हैव टू डू दिस फॉर हिम.
That makes complete sense. Of course, your next one is the big one, Thama. Everyone's excited. They've seen the trailer, they've seen the teasers. They're excited without having seen the film. You obviously made the film. What is it that you think will really excite the audiences when they actually go to the theaters?
Well, Thama is a kind of a genesis. It carries forward the new chapter in Maddock horror comedy universe. It's based out of Indian folklore. We've heard about Betals, and Thama is the most powerful Betal. And as I said earlier, this is my first Diwali release. मुझे 1 दशक से ज़्यादा हो गया है फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में, पर अभी तक मेरी कोई फेस्टिवल रिलीज हुई नहीं. दिस इज माई बिगेस्ट रिलीज इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्केल एंड मार्केटिंग एंड द काइंड ऑफ यूनिवर्स. आई थिंक इज द मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल यूनिवर्स इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ हिंदी सिनेमा एंड आई एम वेरी एक्साइटेड अबाउट इट. तो ये कमर्शियल फिल्म है, दिवाली की फैमिली एंटरटेनर है.
And your molars are back, हाँ? आपके दांत वापस आ गए हैं.
दांत मैंने कटवा दिए. फिल्म के लिए रखे थे, पर वो निकल गया.
But is that a recurring theme though? I mean, it's a common man in extraordinary circumstances that still becomes an Ayushmann Khurrana film. But that's been a recurring theme through most of your films. Would that still be correct?
हर एक का एक स्टेपल जोन होता है. मेरा स्टेपल जोन है कॉमन मैन का. आई थिंक वी नीड टू सेलिब्रेट एंड चैम्पियन कॉमन folk with their idiosyncrasies and their flaws. And I think there's certain heroism in it. वो relatable होता है and it's very encouraging for a common man. And me coming from like a 2-tier city, I think I've lived that life. I have had a very diverse upbringing. मेरे खानदान में अमीर से अमीर और गरीब से गरीब लोग हैं extended family में. तो वो बहुत diversity के साथ lived in experiences होते हैं ज़िंदगी के. जो I think पर्दे पे हम उतारते हैं as an artist.
Ayushman, आपने खानदान का जिक्र किया, and I have to say from the Khurana family, there's another huge Khurana on the scene. You were talking about Maddock horror comedy universe. There's already a boy in that universe from Stree 2, that's Apar Shakti Khurana, your brother. He did Jubilee in 2023, which I thought was fabulous, loved by everyone who's watched it on Amazon Prime Video. What's it like to have a sibling in the same profession?
I think it's beautiful. He never wanted to be an actor to believe it,
Okay.
to begin with. He wanted to be a cricketer. He was Haryana captain of under 19.
Oh, really?
cricket. Yeah. He played nationals.
Batsman or a bowler?
Yeah. Huh?
Batsman or bowler?
Batsman, opening batsman and a crazy slip fielder. But suddenly he wanted to be an actor. And he's such a natural because of his upbringing. He's played for Haryana. He knows Haryanvi, Punjabi, all the languages, very rooted. And I was not surprised in Jubilee because मुझे पता था उसके अंदर वो है. He was always known for his comic timing, but he surprised the world with Jubilee with his serious, Bengali character, and I loved him completely in Jubilee. I'm so
I
proud
have
of
to say,
him.
I have a theory about siblings in the same profession. The elder one always tends to do better. Purely because एक first mover advantage होता है, except in sports. Because you mentioned cricket. Because the younger one has actually played with the older one from a very young age. But of course, he's just starting out. This is about you. And
But I really believe there's no,
No?
barometer for that. वो बहुत खुश आदमी है. वो एक दिन में 10 चीजें करता है. Success से क्या उसका क्या tangible थोड़ी होता है. Measure क्या करते हो? I think he's a natural sports person. He's a great musician also at the same time. He travels a lot. He lives his life to the fullest. I think he's far more successful than me.
And of course, he also has a long way to go. But you had
Absolutely.
you had a crazy run, Ayushman, and of course, you'll continue to have a crazy run from here on as well. When you look back at your years, and you were to, at Vicky Frames, organize a retrospective of your works, you had to pick 5 films. What would those 5 films be?
It's difficult to choose. It's not easy. I'll start with my first film, Vicky Donor.
Of course.
Dam Laga Ke Hai Ishwar, Andhadhun, Article 15. I don't know about Shumangal series or Dream Girl, but there's an underdog film called Action Hero. I'm really proud of it. And I hope Thama makes to the list when you watch it this Diwali, 2 weeks from now. Yeah.
Which will be a commercial success, I hope, and I wish the movies that you mentioned also been very widely loved. There's one that you missed, I think, and which I think is developing a cult of its own over the years, and I learn it from young people, is a movie called Meri Pyari Bindu. It's one of those films, and I really hope that you continue to do these amazing movies, Ayushman Khurrana. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Ayushman Khurrana.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayank. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Problem? Am I audible? Can everybody in the room hear me? Thank you. Thank you for that shout out. Yes, to establish that we all love cinema and we're here because of that, I want to actually start by asking all of you, which was the last film you saw on the big screen in a theater that you enjoyed and loved? Ashwini, shall we start with you?
God, that's a very difficult question.
I thought this is the easiest.
But the last film which I actually saw is the most recent one, Homebound, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes.
I just wish there were more people in the theater,
Correct.
but we need cinema like this to keep us going. And at the same time, now there's Kantara, which is released, so I would want to go and watch that too. But yeah, that's the last film which I have watched just recently. Yeah.
Lovely. We do a quick vote of hands. You guys have seen Homebound, Kantara? I just want to see how many of you are awake. That's the reason I'm asking this. Lovely. So we have people here who like good cinema. Shujit, coming to you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Kantara. Homebound, of course, very good. I've seen, I've seen F1 thrice,
Yes,
and
that's
I've seen the one battle after another,
again
and I'm going to
amazing.
watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch one
Yeah,
battle after the other.
That's what I watched, and yes, that is amazing. A recommendation, guys, if you haven't already. Ram.
So, as a paying movie audience, not as a preview kind of show, but as a paying movie audience, the last film I saw was Sinners, which I went and saw twice. Because the first time I saw it on normal screen, then I went and saw it on IMAX. Sinners is like something which, again, I think we're all dealing with, which is how do you make something that you want to make while reaching out within the commercial, sort of paradigms of getting people into the theater.
Sinners again gets our vote.
Yeah.
Rahul?
Well, I saw F1, I loved it, and I think before that I saw Animal, and I saw a Netflix film, Chamkila, on the big
On
screen.
the big screen, of course.
Because
and
I was
we
a part of that.
Yes, and you're enjoying your stint in front of the camera. I'm going to come to that, but we'll now dive in. There's something I'll take off from what Ashwini said, which is, I saw Homebound, I saw Kantara. I wish there were more people in the cinema hall. We are talking about an inflection point where we say the audience demands different stories. They want rooted stories. There is also the whole technology challenge with AI coming in. There is a need for newer narratives. But when that is offered, do you think you are seeing the results that you would like to see? And if not, what, you guys are brilliant filmmaking minds, but what do you think is the biggest challenge that that's not happening? Any one of you could start. Shujit, I think everybody wants you to speak first.
I don't know how to put this out. I mean, there are many kinds of films. I mean, one we call that independent films. And then are populist films with populist actors. So both of them work differently, I feel, So it's say, for example, Homebound. Let's take an example that she said. What a brilliant film. It has done so well. Some great filmmakers, backed by such a big production house. So what I've seen, my experience of this is that these kind of films, if these kind of films had, you have to take it to the audience, you need to find a right distribution system where you have, for example, say for example, South Bombay is considered as a intellect, part of Mumbai. So, for example, let me tell you another example is in Delhi. When I was growing up, there was this theater named Shakuntalam. And all the world-class films, including Indian films also, even the Indian filmmakers from Ray and Mrinal Sen and Tapan Sinha and Mr. Benegal, all films were shown there. So those shows were more or less full. So there was one dedicated hall which was given to these independent films, I think. So I think we'll have to find those pockets where we can release these independent films, what we call little out of the box, so that study is very important. You can't just make a film and just release it everywhere.
Right.
Because I think the problem is not, in my case only, I'll tell you, the problem is not about the theater when it's full. Problem is when the theater is empty. So that's when it hits you. The balance sheet is then, reverses because it goes tilted more towards the empty hall. So I think it's finding the right audience and pockets, which in today's time you can do, and you can release them. You can't just generally release them.
Right.
Especially I'm talking about these films like Homebound and these independent films. बाकी populist film के लिए तो कोई problem नहीं है, अच्छी कहानी होगी तो चले ही जाएंगे लोग.
The spectacle and substance may balance is what we are looking at.
I genuinely feel that the audience in today's day and age, because of the digital medium and how they are viewing cinema, or even stories per se, like before the newspaper hits, people know on social media there's a news there, you know. So that's how quick the news is, and that's how quick people's attention span is to know news, which is worth accommodating to themselves. Similarly to movies, when they see a trailer and if they are aware that this is the director of the film, or this is the music of the film, or this is what it is, then they're already made up their mind whether they want to watch the film or they don't want to watch the film. I think that's what my research in terms of how audience is looking at films. So a film like Sayyara, with two new actors, but very talented ones, but with an amazing director like Mohit Suri, who has a track record of getting real depth characters in terms of falling in love, romance, young romance, and beautiful music, has an eye for the audience. So that time it is not about who's the actor or, you know, what is the size of the film or anything. It's just purely the sheer joy of going and watching this film in theater.
So do what you're good at, but do it with conviction.
Yeah, do it with conviction is because I feel that the audience is very smart. They at one go know whether they want to watch this film in theaters or they'll wait for it to come on a platform. And they look forward. So how much ever we try to sell or oversell our stories, the audience has already made up their mind whether they want to watch this film or not.
Okay.
That's my reading. Yeah.
Ram, you want to come in here?
I'm just going to share some figures, okay? Because which is what I've been
You know, I was
looking.
going to say your precision as a filmmaker is well known. I like that you've come with your armed with facts.
This is only because, I'm one of those people who prepares because otherwise I feel very nervous. So what's happened from from the reading that I have done is that between 23 and 24, we've had about a 6 to 8% drop in cinema. Okay. But OTT has gone up by 50 to 60%. Okay. SVOD is actually remained the same, and in fact is reducing. So more people are going on to YouTube, but less people are paying.
Right.
We've now heard the IMDb report which says that the star factor is not what it used to be. Yeah. We now know that the story diversity that is there within our country is now growing more and more in, just the diversity of what the stories are. Now, this means that what do filmmakers like us do? Because we're in some ways been carving our own commercially experimental work, if I may call it that.
We were called the middle cinema filmmakers.
And it's good that you've got people like us on stage because, so how, is there any hope? Okay, what do we do? Am I going to make my next movie? So the good news is that at least from where I'm coming, in the last 3 or 4 months, there seems to be an excitement. Okay, so whoever I'm meeting, whether it's producers or actors, उन लोग को picture बनानी है. Okay, this is a big deal. It wasn't there last year. This year, people want to make movies. The other thing is that, from what the IMDb report tells me, directors and writers are the new architects of cinema. So, and not the stars.
Wow.
Okay, now that's a report that is telling me this. So I said, अच्छा, ये उन लोग ने research किया है कि there is some value for us.
So we have the stars on
That's why
stage
we need to have
today.
Instagram and Twitter accounts also.
Yeah. So there is hope. Then they're telling me that look, there is cultural impact which is long term. Okay, which is the top movie right now is Gangs of Wasseypur. Okay, and therefore, or it's something which has been re-released in theaters. So that means there is some long legs which are happening over here. Now, if this conversation, which is something that I'm hearing, starts becoming part of public knowledge, okay, then what happens is there is hope. And the algorithmic suggestions that you're getting are telling you to become part of what we all come from advertising. And we were making ads which were part of what they said was water cooler conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, कि तुम्हारी ad जो है ना hit होनी चाहिए. कि आप जब पानी और कॉफी जब पीते हैं तब वो पब्लिक बात करती है कि नहीं. And I think more and more we are now going into films which are part of cultural conversations. And so if I have to make something now, and I'm looking at backcasting, I'm not looking at forecasting, I'm not looking at what I want to make necessarily only, I'm looking at what is it that you want to see while I'm looking at what I want to make, then I'm feeling that I better make it community theatre. कि पब्लिक जब थिएटर में जाना चाहिए तो उन लोग को सीटी मारनी चाहिए. They need a public hall experience. It can't be an indie private experience.
We have established that. Right? So that's a positive note.
Yeah.
Rahulji, I'd want you to come in here.
Well, I resonate with what Ram said. He spoke about hope. Hope तो बहुत ही ज़रूरी चीज़ है. Hope की वजह से हम सब लोग बैठे हुए हैं यहाँ पे मंच पे आज. But ये hope कहाँ से आता है? Hope आता है because we want our voice to be heard, essentially. That's the reason why I'm guessing that's why we've all become filmmakers. When I was, after quitting journalism and branding and all of that, when I wanted to become a filmmaker and I produced my first film, Sai Biwi Aur Gangster, उस समय NRIs के लिए फिल्में बन रही थी. And I wanted to basically say something that resonated, the kind of storytelling that resonated with my roots. Small town, etc. And hence I became. So I think अपनी आवाज़ और अपने expression को पकड़ के रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. I also resonate with what Ashwini said, that see, end of the day, जो audience है वो बहुत ज़्यादा समझदार है. वो सूंघ लेती है कि अच्छी फिल्म कौन सी है, बुरी कौन सी है, या अच्छी बुरी रहने दो, उनके जहन में अच्छा और बुरा क्या है. And I think that is the reason when they watch the first teaser or the trailer, and hence the communication is very important, I feel. That whatever that you feel that आप क्या बोलना चाह रहे हो, वो at least it should be communicated, and if it is communicated well, you will get your audience. Shuji spoke about finding, customization to that level where you find a particular theater for a particular audience. I think वो मेरे लिए थोड़ी दिक्कत की चीज़ है, because मैं इतनी customization नहीं कर सकता. End of the day, I want to say something, and I want the whole world to listen to it. I mean, I'm greedy.
Yeah.
So now I don't know whether I will be able to succeed or not, but I will try my best as a filmmaker that the characterization is rooted. That the narrative, कुछ चीज़ें जो हैं, ये तो experts यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, they also happen to be one of my favorite filmmakers, all three of them. But what I'm saying is, and hence the narrative and the characterization and the triumph of the human spirit and all of that is very important. And the changing palette of the audience, also the genesis lies in the changing behavioral patterns in the pandemic. We all know that.
Right.
So these are the challenges, but end of the day, a film essentially, or whatever that you come out with, has to be from that conviction that ये मेरी आवाज़ है और मैं ये, I am there to entertain, because end of the day हम कोई पढ़ाई लिखाई करने तो आए नहीं हैं, because we also want to engage and we also want to entertain, and people are ready to be entertained. I don't think that they want any homework to be given to them.
Is decided, and we want to see how we are approaching a story which comes to us, or we have an idea. Because we have choices right now, we definitely do screen. I do screen whether this is a film which I would want to make it for a platform, or this is a cinematic approach as a theater, theatrical approaches, because I feel happy that at least you have the choice right now. And because the choice is that I may have a beautiful idea, and that idea would be suitable for an audience who can come onto a platform at their will. So I don't have to force them to come to the theater. But there would be a film which would be a spectacle, or something which is maybe so beautiful that I want it to be as a theater release, is because it is a community viewing, and it needs that kind of first half and second half and the break in between. And that time I know that I would want my audience to come there and watch that film in a theater and spend that kind of time. We also need to remember that Gone are the days where there was only one form of entertainment. Now there are multiple forms of entertainment, right from getting the youngsters to get out of their homes because they're playing games there. And that is also a form of entertainment. We have sports, which is a huge form of entertainment. And
So you're
thanks-
competing with a lot of other things for
yeah,
attention.
and thanks to our country, who is like kind of like really getting into the whole idea of sports and sports viewing, and so much is happening. It was just not cricket. Now there's football also,
Correct.
and there is Olympics also, and there's women cricket team also. So everything is a form of entertainment. Plus there are amazing restaurants, and plus there are lots of malls. So when there are lots of malls, what do? What's a pattern? The pattern is that you go to a mall, you will shop a bit, then you need to go and have dinner, and then you might go and watch a movie, or watch a movie and then go have dinner. And then there's a gaming zone in the mall also. Plus you have to adhere to the traffic.
So it's hard. It's scary.
hard. Plus you have work. So imagine and the decision makers, for me, I do feel, I may be completely wrong in my assessment, but I do feel that the younger audience are the decision makers of the house. Like they will quickly tell us, jana hai ki nahi jana hai. Ye isko baad mein dekh lo.
Shurjit, you.
What were you asking?
The form of entertainment, plus the food reels which people see, plus the memes which people. So basically there's so much to see.
I'll make a mental note to come back to reels, but Shurjit, over to you.
I think if you particularly talk about cinema, I think it's a very subjective thing. It depends on, for some people, they need to watch everything every day. For some people, it's just a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For some people, one film, I mean, I'm talking about myself. If I have seen a film, I need to soak in that film for some time. I can't watch a film right now, and I choose my films, and I watch that film, and I really want to soak in there, and I want to stay with that film for maybe weeks, maybe months. I may not touch any other film during that time, just that I have to watch, because I need to live with it. Yeah. So there are many patterns of audiences. So I am also an audience in that sense. Correct. But as she said that there are many other forms of entertainment, there might be. But I think for filmmakers like me, we also need to decide where I am, what I am making. All my films were meant to be cinematic, to be for cinema, for a community viewing. That's what I have grown with. But last two of my films went straight into OTT. But then when it went straight into OTT, Sardar Udham and Gulabo Sitabo, what I saw a difference that it reached so many people.
Correct.
Through OTT, which was not in the case when it was just releasing otherwise in the theater, right? So I got that exposure to that. So when I'm making a film, I first, as I said, I'm then making a film. I don't decide where I am going to put it out. So far, I have not been able to. But if the choice comes, I mean, in future that, I have to take a decision that where it might go, I have experienced both now. So it'll all depend where I am. But every film has got, mostly people make for a cinematic experience. So that experience is, I think, a must for a filmmaker to experience. If not...
Celebrate success. You all have managed to hold on to your authentic voice. Is that a challenge? Is that your stubborn conviction that you don't want to change, or it is never threatened? It's never threatened with the medium.
So I'll give you some examples on this. I mean, I've been lucky that, some of my films where I started with an independent thought, but some really good populist actors agreed to work on it. Then I molded myself into a little populist zone somewhere in the crossroad, what you call. So that happened with Piku and everything else. But I started as an independent film because I've grown up watching them. Now, what happens is that challenge is always there in every film that you make. It's not that I've made Piku and then I didn't had a trouble making October. I had. So you make October, then you again face a trouble making Siddhartham. So that choice and difficulty is always there to make. Nothing decides. Your film this Friday does not decide that the next Friday what's you going to be. It's going to be a difficult choice anyway.
Ram, with your emotional intelligence that comes through with the projects that you make, you also...
So, you know, and when we made Neerja, I was told, Ram, ये है ना 4-quadrant picture है. So I said, यार ये 4-quadrant क्या होता है? Because then I was told it's young, old, male, female. Then they said, ये क्या है? ये कांदिवली से कोलाबा picture है. So I said, अच्छा कांदिवली से कोलाबा है. Then I got started into this kind of conversation, and now I'm saying कि I have my own phrase which says मैं मौसा जी के लिए बनाऊंगा और क्लासा जी के लिए भी. मौसा जी and क्लासा जी.
Klasa ji, okay.
So now I want to reach out desperately. Okay, I like it when people like my work. I don't like it when they don't like my work. My self-worth is dependent entirely on how good you think I am. So am I good? No, you're bad. Why am I bad? Because you told me I'm bad. Acha, then, you know, in this business, if I make something that I liked but you didn't like it, or 99% of people didn't like it, does that make my work bad? And we're in the business of wanting validation. And that validation sometimes is commercial, sometimes it's critical. And out of the 4 kinds of successes that there are, which is, let's say, you get commercial success, which is financial, critical success, personal success, and let's say that you get something which is not necessarily commercial. I mean, you get commercial, but you don't get, like, you know, it's not something that you wanted to make, but still, wow, this is a hit. Okay. I think all of us have managed, actually, at our best work, we have managed these 4 successes. It's because of that reputation that we are sitting here today. And it is because we've also managed our own failures or work that didn't quite reach out. But I feel bad when people don't like my work. I want you to like it.
I'm sure that there aren't many days when you feel that, because that's what...
I think we're all in the business of, you know, trying to make our own work and yet try and see how you like it.
Yeah.
I think because we come from advertising and we respect advertising in some ways. We all believe that that is where we began to respect the audience.
Yeah. Lovely. Rahul, you have had such an interesting journey. Your background in brand building, you've done distribution, production. Everybody here is speaking about how they want to reach the right audience. They want their work to reach the audience. His self-worth is dependent on how much they like, like what they make.
Yeah, like I keep saying, is the measure of my worth that I went for a walk? Or is the measure of my worth the work that I do?
Yeah. So how important is then...
I think cinema is, as we all know, is 50% creativity and 50% business. So, and the balance of that is something that all of us aspire for. Marrying good content to box office success. That's the mantra which everybody looks for.
Otherwise, you don't get to make your next film.
Yes, exactly.
It's as simple as that. You're dead.
Yes. What do? I try to make good content and marry to... So these are the 2 things. Like I said earlier, I think the positioning and the communication is important. But before that, उसको भी मैं आगे की stage मानता हूँ. सबसे पहले तो I think your material, I don't like to use this word, but the material is very, very important.
Content.
Is the content. And then after that, what you call that content. So I think if you can, in a one line, explain to people, I'll give a small example. I'm just going back to my first film, but this really worked for me. If I would have told guys in 2011 is when Sai BB Gangster came, that कि जी मैं एक film बना रहा हूँ जो, which is about some guy and his wife runs away with the driver. People would have said, this guy's gone mad. So I just said that this is an ode to Sahi Bibi or Ghulam, one of my favorite films, and the title was Sahi Bibi or Gangster. So I think that worked, and the trailer worked, and then of course the content worked. So I think everything is important, but primarily just because you package something well and then it'll only because of that it'll do well in the long run, I don't believe that. So the content has to be great, and of course after that, the communication, all your marketing units have to be good. We have instances where some of the films have been great, but then the trailer was, people saw the trailer and said, ye kya hai? And then later on, by the time they realized that the film is actually good, I think too much of time was wasted and the movie went away. And then later on, when we saw it on OTT or later on, maybe the second release, there are a few instances like that. So I think it is important that the title of the film, the positioning, how you market it, and that is where what Shujit said, going to the right cinemas. I think choosing your territories and choosing how many screens where, and also that's an entire distribution kind of a thing, which helps in reaching out to the audience and in distributing the film well. But marketing and the first teaser is the most important thing according to me. Because that's where the audience decides whether they want to or don't want to watch the film.
Right. More time because I see time's up written. Do I have time? Because I have a few more questions. Or should we wrap up? We can? Okay. So the one thing I want to talk about is...
That's the gravestone over there. It says time's up. There's a dead body below it.
You're all here with creative pursuits. I want to understand, how much does the word AI scare you? Is it something that aids you in your creative process? Is this something that you will fight and resist? Where do you guys stand?
I'm going to go and say first, I've just done a virtual reality experience on AI, which is a 5-minute short film on Bhagavad Gita, which was done on AI because in this attention deficit economy, what better way but for you to immerse yourself in a VR experience. And at Ram Madhwani Films and Equinox, we are embracing it, okay? Because, I'm finding it useful. And to me, it's just another technology. And at some point, I'm hoping that we'll get an AI sentient being on stage with us, who will be then talking about how is it that you humans, and therefore, and then we'll become, instead of racists, we'll become speciesist, that we don't like the species.
I think there's a short film idea right there. But,
there's a film there.
Enough has been said, A lot of discussions are already on the platform and everywhere. So I have nothing to add
we have
there.
no choice but to live
Nothing
with
to
it.
add there. I mean, it's as whatever he said, it's he's embracing it. So we all, seeing where we
an
can
option.
find.
The internet was the first time when we said, oh, what is the internet? Now, 25 years later, whatever, everybody's saying, oh, what is AI?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of getting used to it. So.
To move with the times and stay updated.
I think coexistence will be an important part of AI and AI. I'm also AI. So AI and AI has to coexist. But the one thing which I do know is that technology has always been a part of our lives from the longest time, whether it started
In fact,
off with-
the root word of the word technology is from techne, which means art. It's a Greek word. Techne means art.
Yeah.
So we better embrace it.
Yeah, so it is about how, it's not about it's there now, what's going to happen. It's about how we embrace it, coexist with it, and how do we know how to use it. The most important thing is to how to use it in the right way for us to coexist with it.
Yeah.
So if I can use AI to help me visualize something which I cannot go and shoot at that point of time. There was a time when we used to illustrate that.
Yeah.
Right? We used to storyboard it. We used to storyboard it because we needed to show that this is how it can happen. But now, instead of storyboarding, which we do the same thing, but instead of drawing, we do it in AI. But in doing it in AI also, you need illustrators and artists to put the right command and to understand shade and light and to understand how things will move, to understand camera work.
They're called prompt engineers.
Prompt engineers,
To have
right?
the right
so
prompt,
to have the
correct.
right prompt. So if it is about how to use it in the right way. But the one thing which I'm not sure, and I think Sujita and I had this discussion when we were in Australia, in Sydney, Melbourne, sorry, was that as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, I have a voice. I forget everything else, but when the character and the director is standing in front, it is like me talking to you, and there is something called an emotion, there's something called taking out an emotion. That it's like looking at a photograph and feeling whether there is a photograph of rain and imagining the fragrance of rain. Will AI be able to do that is my big question mark. Maybe a few years later, but for the moment, I'm happy that one thing which maybe is still strong with me is taking out performances and taking out emotions out of characters, out of actors.
Right.
If that also can be automated, but how much can it be automated?
The only thing is ki on AI, the ethics and the legalities,
Correct.
that's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be recalibration. मुझे लगता है legalities will be very difficult to figure out. It will be individual and subjective basis पे होगा because it can't be general legalities हो नहीं सकता उस पे.
And I'm also very happy that platforms do take a stance, like when we are presenting things or even when we are presenting our ideas, the criteria is that directors cannot use AI to showcase look, feel and everything. So you can show photographic images or something, but not to use AI. So I think that's a good step to understand, because it's not, we are almost clashing with our own ideas then. Yeah. So where is my idea as a maker?
Yes, Shujit.
Yeah, just one thing I wanted to tell, I just remembered, I was talking 3-4 days back, because this is a good platform, Fiki, and we are talking about how to get the audience in and make them watch films. So when I passed out of college and struggling, in Kolkata, there were cinema theaters like Empire and Globe. So in the lobby, they had a bar. So I would go in, take one drink, into the theater, watch the film. In the interval, I come out, another drink. I go see the second half, come back, another drink, and discussing the film, we go back home. So I think in Fiki, I tell them, please get a bar in the film lobby.
I think a lot of
See,
people...
so this is.
AI can't do that. Only
I'm
Shujit
just
can
going to take
come
a
up.
minute. First thing is like your smile and your thing कि यार तेरी film आ रही है मैं ज़रूर देखूंगी. That's what keeps us going in the sense that we all have a unique voice. So we may go wrong, we may be right, but we still have a unique voice, and each of the directors who are there have a unique voice, and they come with that voice. So next time you hear, okay, Ash, tu kya bana rahi hai? And when I say, okay, fine, there's a film coming up, you're at least looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And that is the validation I think we all seek for. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On that note, time's up. We'll end this session. You guys have been a lovely audience. And thanks to Shujit, we actually end on a high note.
On a high note. No, thank you, Suti. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for all your interest and questions.
Absolutely wonderful being.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, all the panelists. This session truly has been a masterclass on filmmaking and knowing your audience, reminding us all the power of stories to reflect, reshape, redefine our world, and also how So, sir, we'll now proceed to the next session. The next panel discussion is on regulating the orange economy.
Good evening, all of you. Thank you for putting in the hard yards and sticking around for this last session of the night. But really appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to give away my age a little bit and tell you that of these last 25 years of Fiki Frames, I've been speaking at 20 of them.
And so, I do want to dispense with a few of the niceties that we usually get into around, I know our topic is platform shifts, uncharted stories, new frontiers of creativity and distribution. And I don't want to get into too deep into the topic because we've got a panel coming in after this. What I really do want to talk about is something that we probably don't often get the chance to do, which is zoom out a little bit and look at things from a longer term perspective and talk a little bit about the things that might be coming up in 2 to 3 to 5 years that we need to be prepared for. And in that context, I'm going to quote a strange person, but this is a quote that stayed with me. This was during the Iraq War, and Donald Rumsfeld, who was the US Secretary of Defense at that time, made a quote about something to do with the war, which obviously was a disastrous decision, etc., and we know the history there. But he spoke about the fact that there are known knowns, these are things that we know. We also know that there are known unknowns. That is to say, there are some things that we do not know, but we know that we do not know them. But there are also unknown unknowns, the ones that we don't know that we don't know. And if one looks throughout the history of our country and other free countries, it is the latter category that tend to be the difficult ones. Now, there's no way of knowing what we don't know, or knowing that we don't know what we don't know, and I'm not going to confuse you any further with that. But I thought that in this time of flux and uncertainty, when we're all talking about shifts all around us, right? Our topic is platform shifts, uncharted stories. The very topic gives you a sense that there's a little bit of a sense in our industry, which I at least haven't felt for a long time, which is that we're in uncharted waters. The platforms are changing, the distribution models are changing, the audience is changing, this new technology, AI is coming in, which we now know that we are not going to be fully capable of handling and having in our control. It'll grow in ways that we have no idea about. And so there is a certain amount of trepidation amongst people around where is all this going. So I just wanted to go over some of the known knowns, right? Things that we know that we know. Digital is now central to our lives, and there's no doubt about that. And within India, AVOD dominates, which is the advertising video on demand model. SVOD is definitely growing, but we know that unlike many other developed countries in the world, we are an advertiser-driven model, not a subscription-driven model, and digital is growing by leaps and bounds. Regionalization has increased to a large extent where today you always had the southern film industries being very strong, but today, at least in India, you've got very, very strong regional markets that have business models unto themselves completely, a creative ecosystem that is completely unique to them, and ways of doing business that are also quite unique to them, despite the fact that now you've got large global players coming in and working across geographies. Social media is pretty much ubiquitous, and we are all living in parallel content universes. Each one of us as an audience is living in our own, echo chamber, which is driven by an algorithm understanding of who we are as people, and therefore is feeding us content that if you look at the social media feed of even your closest friend, it'll be nothing like yours because you're being fed what you have been shown to like, right? So I think increasingly, we're living in very, very fragmented content universes, each of us independently, and we're actually curating that content based on the things that we gravitate towards. The theatrical experience, which after COVID was under threat and people were talking about our theaters ever coming back, etc., is very, very much in existence. Yes, it will take a little while and it will take a little more thought from people to figure out what it is that audiences really want to watch in a theatrical space. But just going by the last couple of years, you've got, in fact, in the last few months, I'd say, you've had Sayyara, you've had Mahavtar Narasimha, and you've had a Japanese anime film called Demon Slayer. All completely wildly different films doing spectacularly well at the box office, right? And that actually tells you that if you give audiences something compelling, something unique, something differentiated, they will come to watch. Streaming dominance, obviously, around the world. When you just look at 7 to 10 years ago, streaming was something that was still in its infancy. Today, it pretty much is dominating. I know we had a panel right now about the linear model, and I know India is quite different when it comes to linear, but there is a sense overall, just looked at in the global sweep of things, that linear is declining and streaming is growing. And that just is because of the preponderance of the consumer convenience that streaming gives you. You will be going towards streaming. But in India, it is hybrid viewing right now. The growing demand for live experiences. Today, you've got so many people thirsting for that human-to-human connection, and therefore live experiences have become that much more in demand. Concerts are doing better, plays are doing better, people have much more disposable income, and they want to be able to spend it on things that bring them together, rather than sitting and scrolling only. We have devalued content to a large extent because of the fact that, and this has happened because of technology. Earlier, we used to have to go to seek out a film or seek out a show and make an appointment with ourselves to watch it. But today, all the content ever available to humanity is at our fingertips on the flick of a switch with around 7 subscriptions, right? That actually makes you flirt with content now. You don't have to commit to watching something because you've got the DVD from Blockbuster or because you've made an appointment to watch it at 9 p.m. It's pretty much on demand. Global content crossovers are happening much more. Hopefully our time will come. You had the Squid Games and the Parasites, etc. happening much, much more, especially from the Far East. Consolidation is happening at the corporate level. I was just talking to Arjun about that, and the fact that in the US there's been massive consolidation. There's been massive consolidation here in India as well. So you will increasingly have many fewer players being the gatekeepers to the media and entertainment ecosystem. And that with the dichotomy of the fact that today every single person is also a content creator. So your gatekeepers are fewer, but actually each individual person is a curator and a creator of content also at the same time. And whether we like it or not, content sensitivity is heightened. And here I'd say we're not alone. It's happening around the world. When you look at Jimmy Kimmel in the US, that would never have happened a few years ago. When you look at the fact that we also have to be that much more cognizant because both politically as well as culturally today, there are sensitivities that whether we like it or not, we have to be cognizant of. Now, I've just rattled off a bunch of stuff, of a list of things that we know, and we know these things. What are the known unknowns? What are the things that we know we don't know? AI. We're definitely going to be using it. We're going to be harnessing it. We're going to be getting costs down. We're going to be making things more efficient. All those things are going to be happening. But there was a firm that just launched an AI actress the other day, which has created a furor in Hollywood. And today it's a furor, and tomorrow it's the way things are done, right? It's not something that we're going to be able to run away from. It is the reality of the future. What I guess we definitely don't know is how audiences are going to react to this. How much they're going to demand authenticity and reality versus an AI-created, piece of content, and whether that is going to be a differentiator or not, we don't know. Regulatory guardrails for AI, are they ever going to come in? Are there going to be regulations that have some teeth that come in? There are moral and there are ethical issues that are a dime a dozen today when it comes to music, when it comes to character rights, when it comes to world creation, when it comes to all kinds of things. But how active are governments going to be going forward to be able to actually put those regulations into force? And has the bird already flown the coop? Is it already too late? We don't know. Which content formats will survive? If you told someone 15 years ago that a thing called a DVD will not exist, they would have laughed at you, right? There's a whole home video industry that's just been decimated before our eyes in the last few years. Today, things that we take for granted might not actually be around 5 or 7 years later. We have no idea. How much will Indians be willing to pay for OTT subscriptions beyond a point? What is the depth to which we will be able to go in terms of getting people to pay for content? We've been famously unhappy paying for content, right? We're not a nation that enjoys paying for content. We much prefer getting our content free, and today there are many AVOD ways for that to happen. How much will the SVOD market grow? That's another thing that we don't know. And what role will emerging markets like India, Africa, and the rest of East Asia have in the future? Will we be the dominant creative forces 20, 30, 40 years down the line? And I'm just quickly going to go over the unknown unknowns because this is something that we have no clue about. Will there be new creative mediums altogether? Streaming didn't exist a few years ago, and today we can't imagine life without it. Will there be something completely new? Will there be neural and sensory experiences through which you consume, content in the future that we don't even, understand today. Will there be a collapse of trust in AI content? AI right now is something that is the buzzword, but are people going to feel like, okay, we don't want to consume AI because we want real experiences? Again, this might be partially wishful thinking, but who knows? That could happen, right? Will there be an unforeseen platform collapse? Will there be a complete shift in audiences culturally away from technology as a reverse sort of reaction to their lives being inundated with technology today? Will that happen in the future? And so, given all these factors of that actually denote the flux that we're in right now, here are a few things that I think that we can do going forward. Double down on content creation, focus on who we are, what we know to do best. And I know it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true that any format you talk about, from a long form series format to a theatrical format, to a microdrama, to a short film, to a reel, what unites them all? Great material. What is the one thing that gets something to go viral on any of these formats? Something great in terms of content. And I think as content creators, as a content creator community, the best that we can do is just create good stuff and hopefully find the right format for it, and the audiences will come. Embrace AI as an aid rather than a replacement. Find ways in which it can help us cut costs, find ways in which it can help us move forward in terms of taking our narrative to the next level faster, cheaper, but without compromising on authenticity. Self-regulate, build our own guardrails around that. Invest in building audience intelligence, trying to understand who our audience really is rather than thinking of them as monolithic groups of people, the elder audience, the youth audience, the Gen Z audience. Today, because they're so fragmented and living in their own content ecosystems, they're very, very different subcultures within each one, and understanding them. And protect our IP, because going forward, that's what's being used to create the learning for all these new technological tools that we're having to face in the future. So again, given all the knowns and the unknowns that I've spoken about, the most famous line about knowledge in the entertainment industry was William Goldman's line about nobody really knows anything. So I'm going to end with that and say, let's go forward and embrace the future with a healthy sense of, knowing that nothing is forever, but at the same time, just putting ourselves down and saying, we will make great stuff and audiences will come. Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth, firstly, for that really riveting and thought-provoking talk. And also a huge thank you to everyone in the audience. I think there are more people here than there were in the inaugural session. All right. As we heard, Secretary INB, Shri Jaju, talk about the fact that the media and the entertainment industry is pretty much the industry of dreams, right? Which blends art, technology, and imagination. If I were to just extrapolate and say that the farm to fork supply chain analogy for us is, scripts to screen. And our particular topic today, which is, uncharted storyscapes and platform shifts, embody exactly that, right? The shifting storyscapes is the scripting part of it, and the platform shifts refer to the screen part of it. And I couldn't be more thrilled than to have this panel along with me to talk about this subject. Aditi, Tanya, Shekhar, Kiran, Deepak, and Shilangi, thank you for being here. Deepak, if I were to start off with you, you've literally been churning out loved content. You're known as the reality king, whether you like that moniker or not. But you've been creating a lot for television and of late a lot for OTT platforms. Do you see a difference between what gets created and consumed for either of these mediums?
Thank you. First and foremost, it's like past 7 o'clock. Congratulations, everybody's still at it. well done, GeoStar and Fiki. It's really commendable. But yeah, coming back, Arjun, yes, I don't like the reality tag. It's very doesn't feel something that I'd envisioned at when we started. But yes, we do create a lot of reality content. But in this evolving world, we're also trying to figure what's the next format, what's the next story, which platform, linear, TV. Of course, there's a lot of I would say interesting confusion out there. And in that interesting confusion, we find the method to really land the next big show, series, story, or a format. So for us, the process is, I would say, our last show has to be very different from the next show. So that's what our little method to this madness is, that that try and aim at keeping the development slate as varied, so that we are constantly on our toes, and we are trying to trying to innovate and trying to build the new the shows or the new stories.
And do you think that the shows that you create for television and OTT, are they different in character, or they tend to be the same? The audiences are overlapping and they consume similar shows despite the medium?
Well, I think in the last 2-3 years, we've now evolved in a very hybrid model, right? I mean, we'd never thought this is going to be so hybrid. We thought there's going to be linear TV, and this is going to be SVOD, and now there's AVOD, there's, the regional side of the world as well. So obviously, things have evolved. I don't think this was designed or this was imagined in that manner. But, a bunch of our shows that we produced, case in point being Big Brother, Big Boss, runs on digital first. It runs on TV right after digital does supremely well on both. It explodes on social media right after the digital broadcast. So it's getting consumed in a manner that everybody is trying to get a piece of that action. So it's great. So in this evolving world, I don't think we can now really try and create content in a manner that this is going to go to SVOD or this is going to go to a linear or in that manner. We obviously start the process by saying, let's try and put a great story, let's try and organize a great team around it, and let's then find the right partner to go.
Got it. So sticking to the theme of script or uncharted storyscapes, Tanya, I'll bring you in over here. Netflix has been creating some marquee programming in the country. You've been at the forefront of leading those efforts. It's also given a voice to indie filmmakers, indie short form as well as long form scripted dramas. Do you see that there is a strategy behind this that you are following, or is it a little bit of an evolving, wing it as you go plan right now underway?
I wouldn't really call it winging it, but I think we're intentional about the innovation. I don't think innovation is optional anymore. I think the audiences are evolving so fast. I mean, just before this, we were talking about AI coming and changing the game. And I think AI comes secondary to the audience and their taste. Their taste evolves given the the options available. So is it possible for us to really stick to a model, or really should the model be innovation? And I think that's the true North Star, because just like your moods change, your content preferences change, your mode of consumption changes, to Deepak's point, and then how can you really have a one-size-fits-all approach? So whether it's, experienced voices who bring, a real gravity like Black Warren brought with Vikram's, vision. Similarly, like, the newest sort of voice on the block is Aryan Khan's with Bads, and that's really, I think, created a large cultural moment. I think whether it's, a 1 hour, episode, or a half an hour Mamla Legal Hai comedy experience, or a 1 hour Kapil Sharma episode, I think the experience is for the audience to choose. I think that the true sort of testimony to the diversification of the audience is to really go after these micro groups, or whatever size they may be, and I think that affinity to their content taste, to really giving them those options, provides love, provides connection for a brand, for content, and that is the true North Star for us. So we're intentional and extremely strategic about that.
Excellent. Thank you for articulating that. And it does kind of tell itself in how you see audiences now consuming what is traditionally considered to be linear television shows and programming on OTT platforms. So that's, and in fact now, even going to now, beyond that to sports and some of the live programming over there.
Yeah, it's just that I don't know if audiences look at it like that. I don't know if they come to a platform and say, I go to one place for just this. Like even the migration of stores to malls is because you really do want everything everywhere. So why must you come to Netflix and only expect a kind of content? We've always said, India is our audience. There is no Netflix audience. So from India, what is it that we're really catering to and what's the outlook? That's really the true North Star for us.
True, and that kind of segues well into platforms, right? If India is your audience, you want to make sure the platform that is ubiquitous and available and accessible to everyone else. So Kiran, I'll bring you in over here. You've created content and championed a lot of independent, cinema. OTT platforms have definitely given a platform to amplify that, make it more accessible than what screens would have been able to give. Considering they're underserved, considering that if these are not high, decibel blockbusters, you would just not, get barely any slots over there. Do you think regional independent storytelling now finds, more audiences, more visibility off the back of, the OTT platforms and, kind of the genie's out of the bottle? That is purely where you as an independent, and you speaking for the cohort of independent producers, prefer as the first port of call to release your productions?
I do believe that streaming has been responsible for us discovering all the cinemas of our country. Where we would otherwise hear of these films, there was never a way to actually watch them. And I think they've done a huge service in connecting the industries of the country. And we now know that the best cinema from across the country will find a home that you can then finally discover on streaming. I have a point of view that is perhaps debatable, but I do think what that has done is that it's made us all so much more literate and aware of regional films that we now are looking to go out and watch them in cinemas. I think cinema footfalls have risen as a result for many, many regional films as a result of OTT. So it's, I don't think that they would necessarily always be the first port of call, depending on the kind of film they are, whether they do see theatrical as a potential and a possibility. And we do know now that there are films that are more sort of natively theatrical films than not. And those films, I think, will continue to go to cinemas. But certainly for smaller and independent filmmakers, streamers are the great big hope. We do hope to be able to find a place on any of the big streaming networks because this is, otherwise the cost of getting to a cinema is prohibitive, to reaching your audience, to actually marketing to that audience is prohibitive, and you do know that here you have a showcase that the whole world is looking at and has access to. So I do think that both actually play a part.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. I think it's not one over the other. It's an and problem or an and solution. Shekhar, interestingly, blockbuster film go to YouTube first. We're not asking for statistics over here, but do you feel that this is something that augurs well for the future of decentralized distribution? Do you think this again is an and solution and or solution? Would you as a platform want to court more producers of cinema to first consider YouTube than theatrical windows? What has been your experience, speaking for YouTube India, and what would be your advice to the film fraternity?
Yeah, no, firstly, thank you for having me here and good evening, everybody. And thanks for the promotion as well. That was a lovely surprise. No, okay, over to your question. I think the way we think about it is when you look at independent filmmakers or production houses today, and Kiran was sort of referring to that as well, there is good quality storytelling, right? The challenge is on the distribution side. people are not able to reach the audiences they want to reach to. They don't have control of the content. They don't have control on the distribution, right? And I think that's where YouTube sort of steps in, right? We are able to offer filmmakers, and I talk about filmmakers here in a very broad sense. I mean, we have Aditi here, you know, who's been creating content on YouTube and some of the other platforms as well. But it's for all the individual creators or media companies or production houses, you know, they are able to gain control of the IP and they are able to figure out the distribution strategy that makes sense for them. And I think here is how it works, right? So when you think about YouTube, we are a vast platform. We reach to about 3/4 of, you know, all of internet users in India. So it's easy for whether it's a regional film or a niche film for them to find that audience, right? We are able to take them globally. And today we are seeing a lot of, you know, movies getting dubbed, a lot of creators dubbing their content. In fact, the fun fact is the largest channel, that most subscribed channel last year was actually Mr. Beast. And that was primarily because he dubbed his content in Hindi, right? So we are also seeing a lot of content creators being able to go to global because of that. Siddharth referred to formats, right? And I think the formats have really broken down, right? It's no longer about a single video, and I think we need to start thinking about it a bit differently. It is about what can you do with shorts, what can you do with live, what can you do on podcast, right? And things like that, right? So I think that paradigm is sort of shifting from a single video to say, how do I build a community? How do I build a fandom? And I think that's very important. And we are seeing good examples. I mean, you spoke about Sitare. We are also seeing creators like Kusha Kapila, you know, who uploaded a movie recently called Virth, and which did about 7 lakh views. We are seeing B-Unique, you know, did a couple of movies as well. And there are Badipa who's doing stuff on regional, right? Marathi web series and short films. So there's really democratization of content, and I think Siddharth referred to that as well. And it's really about you finding that unique audience within the larger community. And I think we as a platform pride ourselves in able to offer that, you know, offer audiences to content creators. And I think it's not about a single film or it's not about a single creator. It's about how do I get more diverse sort of content creators across the board. And we really want to sort of build that capability, whether you're an individual or a production house.
Shilangi, I'll bring you in over here. I want to ask you, you know, if you look at from a platform shift perspective, yeah, Amazon Prime Video has been pretty innovative. You know, you have Prime Video channels, you have the core Amazon Prime Video service. You then had Mini TV, which is now, of course, expanded with an acquisition. You've kind of championed the AVOD model, and then you have stratified streaming, you know, SVOD subscription tiers as well. How do you think India is now consuming content? Are they, the preferred medium is purely shifting to free content? They're okay to watch advertising as long as they get everything? Or do you think there is still an appetite for people to pay for subscriptions and, you know, kind of get rid of ads altogether?
I think that's a great question. We are at a conjunction at Amazon where we have the best of all worlds possible. So it is definitely an and country for us. So it is AVOD and SVOD and Prime Video channels and movie rentals and everything else that could be.
Mike's a little low.
Can you hear me better now? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so in an and world, it's been a privilege that we can take the content that we create, the stories that we tell across customers. Amazon MX Player is, you know, has, you know, tremendous reach. So from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, we are, you know, we are there across the board. And what sort of is the cornerstone for all of this work is that we are very conscious that, you know, we may be a global service, but we have a very local heart. So you know, how do we create a compelling, you know, content story in India that is, you know, rooted, is delightful, and, you know, like resonates with customers locally. And the other thing is that we do want to remain a premium service. Even the content that we create on AVOD, on Amazon MX Player is by far as premium as it can possibly get. So it is definitely a best of both worlds. And our content also travels really well. You know, we've been lucky from the get-go. Just to you know, give you an example, like the our originals program in South, like 50% of our viewership is outside of the home state. So that is truly encouraging for us because we are able to sort of cut through, geographies locally. And then 25% of our viewership comes from international locales. So it's not only going deep into India, but it's also traveling outside of India. Yeah.
Thanks, Shilangi. And Aditi, we're very proud of the homegrown platform that you built. And you've often spoken about empowering creators, championing local IPs. How do you balance the need for curating and creating content versus giving the spotlight and sunshine to some of the independent creators? What are the trade-offs over there? From your vantage point, how do you make a choice between how much of the...
Where we have just in the next hall, so many content creators there.
I want to take a leaf from from Sid's book, where he said, people are now interested to spend time with each other. The world is this very strange place at the moment. There's, there's so much uncertainty. There's, a sense of not knowing what's going to come, whether it's AI, whether it's innovations of different kinds, or whether people are going to lose their jobs, there's wars, there's all kinds of things. And I think what we do in creating visual art is we create spaces for people to come together. And I really do believe people want to spend time together, whether it's, like he said, whether it's watching a play or watching live comedy or it's watching a film. These are experiences people are looking for, and you can see that in the theatrical numbers of some films. What in my wish list is, I think streaming is fine. It's just only going to get better and healthier. I don't think digital needs very much more. I mean, there probably can be more channels, as Aditi said, or more platforms. But what I would really love is a more decentralized distribution, much more cinema screens, many more sorts of venues where people can collect and discuss and experience films and talk about the issues that these films throw up. And I think people enjoy that. And I think there's a business case to be made for much more decentralized theatrical distribution and smaller, more affordable cinemas across the country. We are, as you said, one of the most under-screened populations, and there's a big gap there that we should fill. I think cinema really needs it. We have so many people, so many stories from across the country that never make it because of these bottlenecks in both theatrical distribution as well as OTT. So my dream would be to have many, many, many more such screening venues.
Amen to that. Tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, what a powerful close to the day. We appreciate the realism, the optimism, and the clarity on what lies ahead for creators and the ecosystem. A big thank you to all our speakers, guests, partners, sponsors, and all of you who made our day one a success. Your insights and energy truly set the tone for what's ahead. We will also have several power-packed sessions tomorrow, and we look forward to having you with us with the same enthusiasm and passion. It's now time to celebrate Spirit of India and timeless cultural showcase through a rhythms of devotion, valor, and joy. We meet again in 30 minutes to see this beautiful performance conceptualized by Ms. Swati Mhase Patil, Managing Director of Film City. So we take a break of 30 minutes and we assemble again in the same hall.
More than 8 million people directly. And believe me, it will be like millions of people indirectly. From a cinema hall to a club boy, from a cable operator to a stringer on the road. You have large number of people dependent on this sector, not just for information, but this sector is equally important for the economy of our country. So it's actually not an industry. While this was the main demand when FICCI Frame started, and believe me now, it has the stature, it has all the designs and makings of an industry, but actually this is the ecosystem of dreams that brings together art, technology, and above all, aspirations. So friends, India is one of the largest content creators. Our content travels to over 200 countries. Thanks to all our partners here, Netflix, Amazon, Amazon Prime, JioStar. All this content is now moving across the world, crossing streams, crossing waves, and it's getting subtitled. It's getting subtitled in multiple languages, getting dubbed in multiple languages. And I think all this is ensuring that our stories get the medium